Yeah, Julie, the situation here at LegCo is pretty much under control. You can see some police officers, not an excessive amount though, and it's understandable given the circumstances. LegCo employees are returning to work this morning, although so far we have not seen any legislators at the site. Let's just take a look at the damage this building sustained from last night. This is the members' entrance, and this was the first window the protesters tried to ram, and as you can see, that glass is completely shattered. Some more damages to the other glass panels. The protesters came very prepared, as you can see here. There are hard hats, there's a handyman's toolkit, and there's a bag over there. Let's just take a look at what's inside. It's a bag full of zip ties. And again, it's unclear why the protesters chose to attack the Legislative Council. That said, though, it could possibly be because it was the same group of protesters who had tried to charge to disrupt the flag-raising ceremony yesterday morning, failing which they simply needed to do something to vent their anger. And it's very unfortunate because about 2,000 people took part in the protests here, but that's what garnered the international media attention. Obviously, no one covered that peaceful protest in Hong Kong yesterday, which organizers said more than 500,000 people took part in. Julie.
And Wei, police defended their actions at the media briefing in the wee hours this morning. Why did they wait so long to intercede and drive the protesters out from the LegCo?
Yeah, that's a question everybody is asking themselves this morning. Now, there potentially could be because the police had come under very heavy criticism for how they handled earlier protests. There were calls for the government to investigate police brutality. So police possibly was trying to show a maximum amount of restraint. But that's the police commissioner, Stephen Low, also specifically mentioned a couple of reasons. He said the police officers, when they were inside, they were attacked by an unknown white powder. So he has simply had to protect this man. That's why he called on them to retreat. That said, though, that statement is a little harder to understand because all the police officers at the scene were equipped with gas masks. Of course, there is a lingering suspicion by a lot of journalists and pro-democracy legislators that the police had done this intentionally. One legislator, Fernando Chu, said essentially police set this up as a trap, hoping the protesters will play into it. And it was very unfortunate that they did, because having a mob storming the city's legislature symbolically was very ugly, and that would help turn public opinion against this movement. Now, this, of course, is a free society, and the police is constantly criticized no matter what they do. But again, that right to criticize the police is what the people here value so much, and that's also part of what they're trying to defend. Julie.
And Wei, it's 8:10 in the morning in Hong Kong right now, and a lot of the people are waking up to find out what happened at the LegCo there. I mean, how is the city reacting to the escalated violence we saw on Monday?
Right now, the signal is a bit hard to read. There's still some disruptions in the city. Most of the roads have reopened, but there are still stretches that are still close to the traffic. Some garbage trucks that came in earlier to clean up this area, most of them have moved out. So the restoration of order is proceeding quite fast. That said, though, LegCo, as you can see, because of the damage, it will be closed today. All the proceedings are cancelled. The government house will be closed today as well, and the Education Bureau have told schools to make contingency plans because probably not all students can make it to school. Traditionally, the public in Hong Kong has a rather low tolerance for acts of violence. And the Bar Association and the Solicitors Association in the city have condemned this takeover of the legislature. That said, though, from what I've seen on Facebook among a lot of my Hong Kong friends, some people also say that they, even if they don't endorse the violence, they understand why the young people have chosen to act this way, and that's partly because all the peaceful demonstrations so far, in their opinion, have not yielded any results. One reporter on Twitter had also pointed out that Karen Lam did not appear in public for 14 days before yesterday, but then she appeared twice within 12 hours. There is a lot of suspicion that she was clearly trying to take a political advantage of this situation, and a lot of people are not receiving that very well. Julie.